Hello and welcome back. I'm Barbara O'Neill. Today we're focusing on empowering your bones, a crucial aspect of your overall health and mobility. Your bones form the foundation of your body's structure and strength as they support everything from posture to movement. Understanding how to care for your bones is essential, especially as we age. By incorporating specific nutrients and lifestyle habits, you can strengthen your bones and reduce the risk of conditions like osteoporosis. So stay tuned as we explore practical strategies to support bone health, backed by research to help you live a vibrant and active life.
So why am I drawing a sun when we're talking about bones? Well, the ultraviolet rays from the sun hit the skin. And when they hit the skin, they convert a form of cholesterol to vitamin D. What's converted to vitamin D? Cholesterol. It's a very important lipid in the human body, is cholesterol. Dr. Malcolm Kendrick said, for the first time, normal levels of a normal vital body substance is being called a disease. What's that? Cholesterol. So the ultraviolet rays from the sun hit the skin and convert a form of cholesterol just under the skin to vitamin D. And vitamin D is essential in the assimilation of calcium and the utilization of calcium in the body. Vitamin D is also being hailed today as the anti-cancer vitamin. In fact, the research is showing that it can stop cancer in its tracks and even convert the cell back to a healthy cell. That's quite remarkable. So your bones need for you to be having vitamin D. But I've got some other shocking news for you. And you might say, Barbara, you've already shocked us enough. Bones aren't made of calcium. Well, what are bones made of? They're made of 12 minerals and 64 trace. What are the 12 minerals? Calcium, chromium, boron, iron, magnesium, manganese, silica, sulfur, selenium, potassium, phosphorus, and iron, and we've done iron, zinc. That's what bones are made of, and 64 trace. So what do bones need, students? Definitely not calcium supplements. That's another deception. And in the book, The Calcium Lie by Dr. Robert Thompson, he talks about the calcium lie, talks about the fat lie, talks about the cholesterol lie. Whew. And when we read the Bible and realize that that great dragon, that old deceiver, the devil and Satan, which has deceived the whole world. So, it's not rocket science really, is it? What do our bones need? That. So if you've got calcium supplements, the best thing you can do with them is put them in the bin. Do you call it a bin? In America, they call it a trash can. I just want to be really clear here.
Trash.
Rubbish. Rubbish, yeah. In fact, in the book, The Calcium Lie, Dr. Robert Thompson, he actually says that calcium supplements can deplete even more calcium out of your bones. The pharmaceutical companies, they make all these drugs, then they've got another section. Guess what's in another section? Vitamins and minerals. And there's not a big stockpile of vegetables out in the backyard that they're making them from. They're in a form that your body can't access.
The lack of bioavailability is a significant issue because the body needs minerals in forms it can absorb and use. Many supplements are made with synthetic ingredients or isolated compounds that the body doesn't recognize, as well as nutrients from whole foods. For example, calcium carbonate, a common form of calcium supplement, is not as easily absorbed as calcium from leafy green vegetables or dairy products. This inefficiency can lead to various health issues, including the depletion of calcium in bones. A diet rich in whole foods provides a balance of nutrients that work together. For instance, vitamin K2, found in fermented foods and animal products, works with vitamin D to ensure that calcium is deposited in bones rather than arteries. This shows the importance of getting nutrients from a balanced diet rather than relying only on supplements. It's best to consult with a healthcare provider to determine the most effective and safe ways to meet your nutritional needs.
Calcium hardens cement, it does not harden bones. But what it can do is harden your tissues. It can build up on your arteries, it can actually contribute to calcium deposits in your kidneys, in your gall bladder, even build up on the eyes. So where do we get that from? Dr. Robert Thompson states that the clearest indicator of a creator God is seawater, because it's the exact same mineral balance and proportion as is found in the body. You think about it. We cry seawater, we sweat seawater, we urinate out seawater. Every cell in the body is bathed in seawater. That's why a salt-free diet is quite crazy, actually. So I've got some more good news. You don't have to drink seawater. Do you know it says in the sailor's manual that if they're shipwrecked and they sip little bits of water every day, it'll keep them alive for a long time. But if they don't drink any water for 3 days and get very dehydrated and drink a whole glass full of seawater, that can throw an imbalance and they can go quite mad. So we don't need to drink seawater. All we need to do is get the whole salt, Celtic salt or Himalayan salt, that has all of those minerals in it. Dr. Robert Thompson states that if you take a little crystal of salt in your mouth, give it a little chomp, drink your glass of water, you do that with every glass of water. That's 8 times a day. And what's a baked potato without salt? I'm asking you. Huh? And what's avocado and tomato on rye bread or spelt bread without salt? Our palate tells us we need salt. And in Matthew chapter 5 verse 13, the Bible says, "Ye are the salt of the earth. If the salt hath lost its savour, wherewith shall it be salted? It is henceforth good for nothing but to be cast out and trodden under foot of men." If the salt hath lost its savour, how does salt lose its savour? I'd like to suggest that the table salt has lost its savour because it's only 2 minerals. So throw your calcium supplements out, and the money that you usually use to buy calcium supplements, buy the Celtic salt. There's another place you'll find these minerals, and that is dark green leafy vegetables. Dark green leafy vegetables are phenomenally high in these minerals. That's all you need to. That's what bones need.
In addition to consuming whole salt and dark green leafy vegetables, it's essential to maintain a balanced diet rich in other nutrient-dense foods. Foods like nuts, seeds, and legumes also provide essential minerals and vitamins that contribute to overall health. Adequate hydration is crucial, so drinking plenty of water throughout the day is important. Regular physical activity, including weight-bearing exercises, can strengthen bones and improve overall well-being. Avoiding excessive consumption of processed foods and sugars is beneficial, as these can contribute to inflammation and other health issues. It's also worth considering the role of other minerals and vitamins, such as magnesium and vitamin D, in maintaining bone health. Magnesium can be found in foods like almonds, spinach, and black beans, while vitamin D can be obtained through sun exposure and foods like fatty fish and fortified dairy products.
And there is one food that's phenomenally high in calcium, and it's in with the other minerals, so it's in a good form, and that is sesame seed. And a great way to use sesame seed is as tahini. My kids used to love tahini and honey on toast. And also we make dressings, tahini, lemon juice, crushed garlic, salt, something like that. Tomorrow when the brain's had a sleep, I can probably give you the recipe. But hummus and baba ganoush, a lot of Lebanese dishes use tahini. Also chickpeas are also a good source. So these are foods that will help boost calcium. And dried figs. Dried figs are quite high. But what most people do, unfortunately, they take things that leach the calcium. So what are the leaches? What leaches calcium out of the body is high acid foods. So that's a high carbohydrate diet, high carb, high wheat, refined sugar, and caffeine. All your caffeine drinks, coffee, tea, Coke, all of those are calcium leaches.
In addition to sesame seeds and dried figs, other foods high in calcium include leafy green vegetables like kale, spinach, and collard greens. Dairy products such as milk, cheese, and yogurt are well-known sources of calcium. For those who are lactose intolerant or prefer plant-based options, fortified plant milks like almond, soy, and oat milk can be great alternatives. Nuts and seeds, particularly almonds, chia seeds, and flax seeds, also contribute to calcium intake. Fish with edible bones like sardines and canned salmon are another excellent source of calcium.
Milk, good question. Here's a glass of milk. And this glass of milk is high in calcium, but it's also high in animal protein. And animal protein is very dirty burning fuel. Only 58% is burnt as fuel. Do you know what that leaves? A 42% waste. And that's a high acid waste. It's a sulfur waste. And so what the body uses is it uses the most alkaline mineral, which is calcium, to negate the sulfur residue. Do you know how much calcium is left for the human body after a person drinks a glass of milk? None. Cows can access that calcium because they've got 5 stomachs. We've only got 1. And the countries in this world that are the highest dairy consumers have the highest incidence of osteoporosis. Where does the elephant get his calcium from for his huge bones? Where does the orangutan? The creatures in this planet with the biggest bones are vegetarians. They get it from grass. I've got some good news. You don't have to eat grass. You can eat broccoli and bok choy and all your dark green leafies. You don't lose your minerals when you cook them. You only lose the minerals when you cook if you throw the water away. I like to use waterless cooking. Put on a very low heat, get a heavy bottom pan, put a lid on, and it'll just cook gently in its own juice without any water. You've got to keep it on a low heat. It'll take a little while. You can also do things in crock pots because that's a very low heat. You just got to take a bit more time to do it. So cow's milk is not going to give you calcium.
Cow's milk is not an optimal source of calcium due to the reasons mentioned. While it's widely believed that dairy is essential for strong bones, research shows otherwise. Countries with the highest dairy consumption paradoxically have higher rates of osteoporosis. For calcium intake, plant-based sources like broccoli, bok choy, kale, and fortified plant milks are excellent alternatives. These foods not only provide calcium, but also other essential nutrients without the drawbacks associated with animal proteins. When cooking vegetables using methods like steaming or waterless cooking helps retain their mineral content. Slow cooking in crock pots also preserves nutrients without compromising taste or texture.
So the biggest bone and muscle strengtheners is rebounding. Rebounding is the little trampoline. You see, strength comes by exercise, and strength comes by defying gravity. Defying gravity is the most powerful form of strength building exercise. I have a book by Albert Carter. It's called Rebounding, something about rebounding. And he was a trampolinist. He was a champion trampolinist. And he married and had 2 little children. And he used to do a trampoline show. He'd go around and his little 4-year-old girl and his, little 8-year-old boy, they used to trampoline with him. And he noticed that if he held his daughter's feet, she could do 1-arm push-ups. And his little boy at school, he would do 1,000 push-ups. No kid couldn't come near him. And he thought, why are my kids so strong? It was the rebounding, the constant trampolining. You see, every time you jump, you're putting a little stressor on your body. And every time you put a stressor on your body, it keeps adapting and adjusting, adapting and adjusting. So he was intrigued as to why it was so powerful, and he came to NASA. And NASA, I think I mentioned the other day, NASA found that when their athletes came back from outer space, they'd lost so much muscle and bone strength because there's no gravity. And the only exercise they found that prepared them for no gravity and also it resumed their strength much quicker than any other was the rebounding. They also found that rebounding increased their G-force, which has increased their body's ability to withstand going into outer space. But Albert Carter, he wanted to know more. And this is what he found, that rebounding pulls together 3 laws or 3 teachers. One is defying gravity. So you look at children, as soon as they are able, I was watching my little 6-week-old grandson and he's constantly pulling his head up. And then you put him on the floor, what are they doing? Pushing up, and then they push up to the point where they can crawl. And then what do they want to do next? They want to walk. And then when they're in their cot, what are they doing? Jumping. And if you've got a rebounder in your house and children visit, where do you think they're going to go straight away? The rebounder. I had a trampoline outside, and whenever I had kids in my home, they'd come up, can we please go on the trampoline? Why do I say I had one? Well, we had a big storm one day, and when I came back from being away, it was down on the road, all crumpled up. The storm had blown my trampoline away. But I got a little rebounder in the house, and the children like that. So defying gravity, that's the only way to strengthen the body and the bones, is to defy gravity. The other law that comes together with rebounding is acceleration. And the third law or teacher is deceleration. I don't know whether I should put 2 C's in there or 1. 1, I just heard. Okay, sorry. I know there are a few teachers here, I've got to get it right. When you are jumping on the trampoline, the rebounder, when you're going up in the air, you're accelerating. And just as you get to the peak, deceleration. And then when you're going down, acceleration. And then when you hit the mat, deceleration. So the 3 laws come together. And he also has a quote in his book from Einstein, one of the great masters, who says the body doesn't know the difference between defying gravity, acceleration and deceleration. It sees it all as the same. So there's these constant little shocks that are strengthening the body. This is the only exercise that affects every single cell in the body. It strengthens every muscle. It strengthens the bones in the body. Nothing else does it.
Albert Carter's research showed how rebounding engages our body's natural systems to keep us strong, no matter our age or fitness level. Plus, the rhythmic bouncing can release endorphins, helping us feel less stressed and more focused. NASA backing rebounding shows how effective it is for astronauts recovering from space missions where they lose muscle and bone strength due to zero gravity. Beyond its physical benefits, rebounding is fun and accessible for everyone, whether it's your main workout or part of a fitness routine.
Now, while I'm talking about rebounding, I have to talk about something else, and it's your body's vacuum cleaner. Did you know that your body's vacuum cleaner is your lymphatic system? And your lymphatic system has a network of capillaries all the way through it that are like little canals. And these little canals have gates. Now, your circulatory system is what carries the blood. And it has a pump, and that's your heart. And it pumps the blood through the arterial system way down to the extremities. Well, how does it get back? Do you ever wonder that? You've got a second pump, and forgive the illustration, but here's your second pump, your calf. Your calf muscles are your second heart. It's your calf muscles that pump the blood back up to the rest of your body. Now, there is a problem that some women and some men get called varicose veins. Do you know the best cure for varicose veins is rebounding? Because when you're rebounding, that majorly stimulates your second heart, which is your calf muscle. And what happens with varicose veins is the blood's tending to sit and pool in the venous system. You see, your arteries come away from the heart, the venous system is coming back to the heart. Even just the health bounce, just even going like that is strengthening or moving your second heart, your calf muscles. Around your capillary system, your blood network, there are muscles. And as the heart pumps, it causes muscular contractions all through your artillery. Do you like that one? Arterial. Must be getting late. Arterial system. But your lymphatic system, it has a network of capillaries too. But it doesn't have a muscular system around it, and it does not have a pump. So how does it get activated? Movement. But there is one exercise that stimulates the lymphatic system in a more powerful way than any other exercise, and that is the rebounding. And this is what happens when you're rebounding. When you're jumping, when you accelerate up to the point of getting deceleration on the tip of your bounce, every single gate in the whole of the lymphatic system is open. And when you hit the mat, every single gate closes. And then when you go up again, every gate opens. And when you hit the mat again, every gate closes.
Does it affect the joints of the leg?
Does it affect the joints? There is no jarring on the joints because you've got to bounce. Whereas if you run, your joints jar, but not on the rebounding because you get this cushioning. When people don't exercise and they hardly move, can you see that their lymphatic system isn't stimulated? So what's happening in the tissues? The waste is building up. Do you remember the story I told you about Bobby, who had his lymph node in his thigh removed and his legs were huge, and I got him rebounding every hour, just a minute every hour, just to get that lymphatic system. You see, when anyone that's got swelling in their body, it's lymphatic. It's lymphatic fluid. And the rebounding is often called a lymphosizer because it has such a powerful effect on the lymphatic system. So once you Google and investigate the wonders of the rebounding exercises, now the rebounder that we have is one of the best. It's called a knee duck. It's important to get a good quality one so you get a good bounce, because cheaper ones are very hard, but the ones that are a little bit more expensive, they're just much better quality, and they basically spring you up in the air. They've got such a good spring on them. The good news is you only have to do 3 minutes 3 times a day. How good's that?
Thank you for joining me in this exploration of bone health. Remember, by incorporating these science-backed strategies into your daily routine, you can strengthen and empower your bones for a healthier and more active life. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights on optimizing your health. Until next time, take care and prioritize your bone health. It's the foundation of your well-being.